What's going on, people? Back at it again. It's been a little minute, but welcome back to another edition of Gen Sports Corner. Back at you. 12/29, 2021, almost out for this year. That's crazy. Year went by so fast, but I had a blast. I had fun. I hope you guys did too. But first and foremost, let's hop into it because there's you know some tragic news yesterday. John Madden, longtime NFL head coach, commentator, namesake of the Madden football video game series, passed away at 85 yesterday. Rest in peace, coach. As a Raiders fan, as you guys well know, I'm a Raiders fan as well as an Eagles fan. So beyond playing a video game and beyond hearing him color commentate or be like, boom, tough Afton acting, right? I also knew him as being coach for the Raiders under Al Davis being the owner. And come on, back in the day, brought us to a Super Bowl. Coached for 10 years, brought us to a Super Bowl in Super Bowl 11 against the Purple People Eaters, and Bud Grant and that crew got us our first Super Bowl championship, and then retired the season after. A Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame commentator. Actually played briefly for the Eagles, 1958. For those of you guys that didn't know, fun fact. But rest in peace, coach. You will be missed. He's one of those greats, like the way you think of Merrill Reese, the way you think of Pat Summerall and John Madden, and I'm thinking of Harry Callis. He's up there in that stratosphere of guys. He, even though he might not have been somebody that you knew as coach of your team or somebody that you have seen commentate as part of the younger generation, he's somebody that you just know, whether it's the video game, whether it's him commentating, whatever. John Madden was an icon. So big loss here. Rest in peace, coach. That being said, let's go ahead and talk about the Raiders since I'm on that subject matter. I'm going to hop right into the football. Eagles, Raiders. Raiders had a big win last week. Eagles had a big win last week against the Giants. That was a huge win. And now we're sitting in the seventh seed in Philly. We control our own destiny. And then the Raiders, we're sitting right outside that seventh seed. But we're playing the Colts coming up this week. Carson Wentz tested positive for the bug, not vaccinated, might not be playing this weekend. That helps out the Raiders so much. You don't have Carson Wentz there. I know you, yo, salute reading the comments. Yo, Jules, appreciate you joining. Man Forever, you already know, bro. Um, but yeah, this is a big opportunity for the Raiders. I know Jonathan Taylor might be one of the best running backs in the NFL right now with those Colts, if you didn't get the memo. But without Carson Wentz there, I don't know what that Colts team looks like. And this is a great opportunity for the Raiders to come in and steal one against a very solid team that runs the ball very well. They don't they might not have their starting quarterback, and the Raiders have a very good pass rush with Ndakwe and Max Crosby and Carl Nassib. They can get after whoever they throw beyond center. And if we're able to just key in on the run and just go after Jonathan Taylor and not have to worry about Carson Wentz behind center, that really boosts our chances to get a dub this week. And honestly, if the Raiders go by my estimation, the way I see the next 2 weeks playing out, if the Raiders are able to go 2-0 and the Eagles go 1-1, I believe both teams have a strong chance of ending up with the sixth seed in both the NFC for the Eagles and the AFC for the Raiders. So I really like both of our chances, and that would be the best. That would just cap off my Christmas and my 2021 if both of them made it to the playoffs. It would be great. On the flip side, looking at the Eagles just looking strong last week. They had some mishaps early in the first quarter. The interception that bounced off of Goddard's foot, that was sloppy. They had some sloppy play in the first quarter, but they turned it up. The offense was a little bit slow, but the defense, they stepped on the gas. They turned it up. They got after whoever the hell their starting quarterback was all afternoon last week. The Giants just really didn't have a shot from the get go. Saquon Barkley couldn't do anything because didn't have to worry about the passing game. Jonathan Gannon turned up the heat, came after their quarterback, got some pressure on him. He never got a chance to set his feet or really get to his spot and throw the ball accurately. So I really like what they did on defense. And again, ground and pound, we're able to run the ball at will and just wear this Giants team out, as we have been with other teams. And we have a really good shot of getting that 6 seed, in my opinion, because the Washington football team, they didn't just lose last week, they got demolished. They got embarrassed. I obviously knew that the Cowboys were going to win that game. I picked them to cover the spread. I think it was a 10-point spread, 10.5-point spread. Doesn't matter. They were going to win. But I did not see the complete, total domination that transpired during that game. I did not see that coming. So they have a lot of questions to answer. I think they're sliding out of that seventh spot. The Vikings, they lost. That was big for us because that knocked them out of the seventh seed. So that gave us the go ahead to go ahead and get that wild card spot. So we're in a good position right now for both squads, Eagles and the Raiders, to make it to the playoffs. I'll be talking more about the matchups come this weekend and whatnot, you know, but we'll get into that. And then flipping over to the Sixers, Embiid been going off, been being a beast. He's been showing that he can just turn on that animal whenever he feels like it. You know, he had to dust up with Montrezl Harrell, and it's like, look, dude, you thought that it was a charge? Yeah, it probably was a charge on that play, and then you went and fouled him after that, and it was a foul. And then he fell down, you fell down, and he got back up. Look, I mean, he gave you got your face a little bit, but like it's not that big of a deal. And then you tried to square up with them, arms locked like two bulls in the ring, and you realize Embiid ain't the one to mess with. He not the one at all, at all. So I love that about Embiid. Great win against the Washington Wizards. I love what they did the other night, and I'll be looking closer to see if they make any moves at the trade deadline. That will be interesting. You know, recently Tobias Harris got his first career triple double, so congrats on that, Tobias. We need you to step up and play better. We need you to play well. That's going to be key for this team going to the All Star break and then trying to turn it up going towards the trade deadline and playoff time. So it'll give us some perspective on what trade we can and need to make to upgrade this team to give us a shot to be a playoff contender, a championship contender. Because Tyrese Maxey has been the pleasant surprise this year. We knew that Matisse Thybulle was going to be in the discussion for Defensive Player of the Year after what he did last year. He's only better this year. But Tyrese Maxey coming out, bringing you scoring off the bench and able to get to the basket at will at times. So his progression has been fantastic, fantastic. So, you know, we'll see what happens with the Sixers. And then last but not least, boxing. You know, I'm looking to see if we're going to get that fight with George Kambosos Jr. and Devin Haney down under in Australia. That would be the big fight for me right now. And then we have a fight coming up. There's a rematch between Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua. Alexander Usyk just beat Anthony Joshua a month or two ago for all for three of the belts. Tyson Fury has the fourth belt, WBC, in his win in the trilogy against Deontay Wilder. So we'll see what happens in this rematch. AJ's trying to switch it up. I like some of the things I'm seeing in training. We'll see if he can pull it off. He has a track record for coming back and atoning for his losses. We saw it with the Andy Ruiz fight. I don't think it happens with Usyk, but if it does, more power to him, man. But both were very good fighters, and I'm intrigued to see that fight. And obviously, I dropped a video about 2 weeks ago, I think now, the big upset with Amanda Nunes losing that fight. Now, I would assume she's going to have a rematch, but you know, there's a lot of big things happening in MMA and boxing at year's end that none of us could have predicted. So, a great year of fighting in the books as well. Hopefully, we can end it off with a bang. But that's it for now. I'll be back on later this week. You know, we'll be celebrating the New Year's and whatnot and talking sports. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the love, the comments, and let me know of any things you want to hear me talk about next time that I didn't talk about in this one. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.